I rarely ever take pre-workout. I'm kind of like really against taking pre-workout because I don't really like the feeling of like caffeine, or I don't really like the artificial stuff to get amped up. But it was a late night workout, and I kind of was like, I want to get a good workout in. I want to at least get like in the rhythm back into just, I don't know, just really feeling my muscles or really just feeling my body. Because I haven't been too consistent lately. Like in the past like 2 months, I wasn't really going hard at the gym like that. So I'm trying to like pick that up now. Usually it like kind of falls off like around the summertime. But like during the winter and during the spring, I do a pretty good job of like maintaining. And then summer and fall, that's kind of like where I kind of like go back into like not going to the gym so much. But it's all good. I've been in the forest quite a bit lately. And if it's not in the forest, I've been walking around the neighborhood, getting like at least 10,000 steps, going for like 5 miles. And then here and there in between, I sometimes go for a little bit higher. This is kind of like a way to redirect energy that I feel like I have within me that needs to be kind of like, I almost said expelled. I don't know if that can really count as the proper term I want to use here, but I just kind of want to release it, in a way that isn't like how I used to. Just because change is something that's very important in life. And listen, I've sort of understood, not completely, because there's no such thing as ever really getting the full picture. I don't think that really happens, and I could be wrong, but I don't really think that happens until probably once whatever is animating our body, once that is separated from like, the moment that we die or pass away, however you want to word it. We just simply don't have like the deepest understanding until that point. At least that's how I kind of see it from where I'm at right now, So point is, one of the things that I've learned, actually, because I kind of lost track of that, let me actually talk about the point that I really want to talk about, which is patience. Having patience, it's kind of interesting because sometimes like just hearing the word and understanding, or at least knowing what the word means by definition, you would think that you would know what patience is. But you don't really know it until you experience it. You simply don't, And I think that, at least, like what I'm saying there is, I feel like true, It could be nonsense, maybe it's just me seeing that. But genuinely, I'm just 23 years old. I'm not anybody who's lived plenty of life in this lifetime, at least. I'm not someone that's lived plenty of life in this lifetime to really be able to tell you for certain anything. And I don't even think anybody could really tell you for certain something, or at least it's really just the experience of life that will reveal to you what patience really is. Just as with anything else that you feel like just by looking at the definition you can have an understanding of it. Sure, maybe you can like list an example, but the experience itself is always, I feel like, going to be separated from just looking at the definition of a word. It definitely has got it. Like I at least think it's got to be that way, because patience. I've been one to consider myself to have patience. But just as with anything else, life is going to put you in a scenario or put you in a situation, and you won't realize it until it's happening. And sometimes even when it's happening, you might not realize it until just a little bit. Like maybe it's been going on for a few days, and you're like, oh, this is testing my patience. Like not just testing my, like, point is, right, I've been put in a scenario where I feel like there is genuine love and care that I'm like sort of feeling the weight of in my body. Like I feel the feeling of the weight of just the emotion of love or joy or caring for someone. And it just doesn't really have, at least at this moment, it doesn't really have, it kind of does have a way for it to kind of pour out, or like pour out from overflow maybe. But it's, I don't know, like I still feel the tension. And I think maybe it's because I just haven't seen this person. And so that's kind of like where the patience really comes from in terms of the lesson, like having the patience, which was something that, like, if this was somebody that was in my life just a few years ago, I wouldn't have had the experience or the wisdom or the knowledge to even think or to even be able to, really. Because I feel like a lot of things, one of the things that I said in a few videos ago was that we have free will. But to be honest, it's kind of complicated because, like when you find yourself having, when you find yourself reflecting on a scenario, because, sometimes life really just really kind of does reapply a very similar situation, maybe sometimes a few years apart, maybe sometimes a few weeks apart, something like that. There's some sort of time in between where you sort of take to reflect, kind of be in solitude, or go do different things, and then it reapplies a similar situation. And then during that time, did you learn or reflect from that experience, or did you learn and reflect while that experience was going on to then be able to handle a similar situation later down the road and handle it with wisdom, handle it with the knowledge, or just to be able to reflect? Like, I'm always paranoid of cars driving past me because I'm just like, is a cop going to stop like by here again and cut me off in the flow of a video? Like, that just really sucked, to be honest. I don't want to deal with that, but I kind of get it. I'm like in a public space, but whatever. The point is, literally, if the person I met now was someone that I met a few years ago, right, I wouldn't have had, you could say, the knowledge, the wisdom. I just wouldn't have been able to like, the thing is, what I'm trying to get away from saying is like, it's me doing it, because I know it's not really me. It's not really me doing it. It's just because the way that my life has unfolded, what I went through before, and I don't say that in a way from like, I'm not saying that from a place of hurt. I'm really trying to take like an outside perspective, like a perspective that isn't me, but it is me, because I know the story that's unfolding in front of my very eyes. I it's not that I study, like, it's almost like I'm a very like philosophical kind of person in terms of just being able to process what I'm going through. And that's why this channel exists, that's kind of like the purpose of this. I don't mean to like say things to hurt anyone's feelings or anything like that. I'm really just kind of just talking for the sake of just kind of like, it's my reflection, and then if this lands to anyone, that's great, and I've said it before, if it doesn't land to anyone, that's totally fine. I still felt driven to come out here and do something like this. But whatever, the point is, I don't want to have the misconception of me feeling like I did it, it sort of just happened. And I don't mean like it happened and I don't understand, like it's just grace. Like, I don't know what word to really use to define it, because I don't think you can really define it with a word, but just the way that my life has unfolded, right? The experience that I had before kind of let me at least to like allow me to just be able to handle a similar situation, but just from a different angle that's much healthier than the angle that was taken before in the prior situation. You know what I'm saying? And the scenarios, I'm not saying that they're exactly similar, but in some degree, they share at least a similar trait. And the patience aspect of it has been what's kind of like, it was revealed to me like that, like the patience aspect of it is like, I feel the weight of what I determine, not what I determine, but it feels so much like, the feeling of like when you really want to see someone, when you feel so like just the thought or just the memories or just anything related to that person gets you super, there's no words to be able to put to that. The feeling inside is just like, I can't describe that. Like, I'm having trouble to really put that into words, but I've written it down on journals, like, I don't know. I don't want to dive too deep. But just know that, like, man, like, if you experience what it's like to miss someone, then you know what I'm talking about. I hope that's not a cop, because that's a pretty big car driving by. No, it's not a cop. Okay. I gotta cool down. I'm all over the place, like, genuinely. But patience is a very interesting experience. Like, at one point during this video, I said I've considered myself somebody who has patience, right? But just because you consider yourself to have something doesn't mean that the boundaries or the limitations can get pushed to go even beyond what you thought or didn't even think would be possible. That's really what it kind of comes down to. Nothing is permanent. Everything is temporary. Even what we think like our abilities are, we can always go more and more and more. This is another thing that I wrote down in my journal, and that I also said to two different people. You know, the job isn't done until our bodies decide to drop. That's when the job is done. And genuinely, like, maybe there's more to that as well, you know? But the story of development in our lives, in the different attributes, the different gifts, everything, anything that you can consider a part of who you are in the story that's unfolding, man, these are all chapters. These are literally all chapters that will eventually have an ending to the, you know, like my name is Jesus, right? Jesus, the person, this physical body. Man, this shirt keeps on blocking the microphone. I hope it's not blocking what I'm saying. I kind of want to figure out how to position the microphone so it doesn't bug out on me and, you know, whatever. Point is, the person who I am, this body will eventually reach its end, you know? That's simply true. And that can be kind of like a worrisome thing to kind of like contemplate and think about, but it's a truth. It's a truth. My God, these cars, I gotta leave soon because I can't. This fucking pre-workout in my body, and then also these cars driving by, I can't I can't deal with it. So let me see how long I am in this video, right? Let's see. Oh, we're only 13 minutes. I think I'm chilling. And honestly, I'm thinking about probably cutting a few minutes off of the video and starting at a place where I was kind of like already talking. So maybe I can continue going for a little bit. Or not. We could just end it here, to be honest. It's already 11:19 p.m. And definitely want to get some good rest. So, there's like a few different, you know what, this is going to be like kind of like the outro end of the video. There's a few different videos that I already have scheduled, but I kind of delayed in order for kind of, it's not like I'm hiding, or it's not like I'm necessarily trying to get away. It's more like delaying it just because of just life factors, you know? So this video probably won't release until like the month of August, maybe. And we're currently on I think today is July 8th or July 9th. It's something like that. I don't really know. So this video might not come out till August, like a whole month from now. We'll see, though. We'll see. It's a very interesting situation that I find myself in. You know, like, genuinely there are times where I think, okay, is something going to be like this forever? No, it's not. It's kind of like a silly thing to get into, because at least in this physical plane, as far as we know, nothing here is forever. There is eternity, but really not on this physical plane. Our bodies go away at some point. Our legacy, our story, who we are, our names, the people that we know, it's all temporary. So just chill. Just chill. And I say that not from a place of like, I'm perfect and I don't worry at all. I do. I stress out on so many different things all the time. I wouldn't say all the time, but when something really feels for me, like what I kind of opened up a little bit about earlier, a particular person that I really feel for, it's like, oh my God, like I get like that part for me is kind of like what drags me. I wouldn't say drags me, but it puts me in a place where I can't help but just feel the weight. Like I feel the weight in this area. I think like, yeah, in this area is where I feel it. Like, man, it's just like, you know, as long as you're a human being, that's just something you simply can't escape. It comes into our life in so many different ways. And that much, I feel like I can at least say is true. That feeling that you feel, that is something that is really important to you. I feel like there's no other way to put it. It matters to you so much that on all levels, physical, mental, spiritual, you feel that. Your soul feels it. Your mind can't stop thinking about it, and your physical body literally feels like there's weight on it. When something really matters to you, when someone really matters to you, it's like, oh my God. And, like I said, everyone's life unfolds differently. It can be a person. It can be maybe like an objective that feels really important to you. Whatever that is for you, because right now I know what it is for me, you have to treat that with love, Have love for yourself. Have patience, which is like, again, maybe not the best thing. I thought this car was going to come in here, but it did not. It's just a regular car too. But have patience, and life is going to do that for you. Like, me telling you to have patience isn't going to obviously do it. Life is going to put you in a situation where those boundaries are pushed. If you don't have patience, or even if you thought you had patience, life is just going to come in and test you. Not for punishment, but for development. Literally for development. So at the end, it is going to be okay. It is going to be okay. So that's it. Now go enjoy your life. And I sincerely do mean that. That's it.